Ladies and gentlemen, and hockey fans of all ages, welcome back to another edition of Randy Talks Hockey. My name is Randy Dillon. The NHL offseason is continuing. We are getting some news here and there. It's not painful waiting for the offseason. As I said last year, sometimes these offseasons they can be like watching paint dry. This one, there's been some interesting thing, I'm not going to lie. But there's still time to go before training camp and the NHL regular season. I'm going to break down some NHL news that has happened, and then we'll get into do I think a team got better or worse. All right, we're going to start with the news. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they got Andrei Vasilevskiy signed. He still has 1 year left on his original deal, but he is locked up after this season for another 8 years. A 8-year deal worth $76 million, an average cap hit of $9.5 million. That you can say, is Vasilevskiy worth it? Well, he was a Vezina finalist the last 2 years, won the Vezina this year. So it's debatable, but the question's going to be for the Lightning. Next season, they are going to be in a lot of cap space problems. You got Vasilevskiy at 9.5, Kucherov at 9.67, I believe. Then you got Stamkos and Hedman, 8.5. Braden Point, who don't need the contract. How much he's going to get. They're going to have some players off the books, but not many. Julian Breezeball, he's going to have some work cut out for him next season. I think this might be the both last chance to see can they go ahead and win a championship. Another signing that happened was the Rangers signed Pavel Buchnevich to a 2-year deal worth $6.5 million. He was the last, I believe, big Ranger RFA to get signed. Now, yeah, the Rangers are ready to go, but they're over the cap by like $4 million. There's going to be some interesting moves on what the Rangers are going to do to get under the cap. They have no players on long-term LTR. They're going to have to move a body here or two. Interesting on how the Rangers are going to get under the cap before the season starts. At this time, arbitrations are happening. Either the team and the player can agree on a deal before it happens, or you go into arbitration, the player gets awarded money, and that's exactly what happened to the Winnipeg Jets. There are others, but I want to talk about the Winnipeg Jets because they are on a cap crunch. Andrew Kopp got a $4.56 million deal. It really hurts the Jets in a way because they still got to get Laine signed. They still got to get Kyle Connor signed. They are very tight against the cap right now. Only 17, well, they're not tight. They have $17 million in cap space. But when players like Laine, he might be wanting $10 million, and Kyle Connor, you can say around that $7-8 million. Man, that Kevin Shalvdale, he's in that tight cap squeeze. What is he going to do? Last week, a trade did happen between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vegas Golden Knights. The Leafs reacquired David Clarkson, who they signed to a deal in the summer of 2013 to a 7-year deal. And the Vegas Golden Knights, they got Garrett Spark and a draft pick, I believe a third or fourth. I can't remember exactly which one. But the good move on both these teams. The Knights are now under the cap. They were over the cap for so long, but now they're under. That's good news for them. They were quickly able to sign after defenseman Derek Engelland. He's a big boy, a veteran. Vegas likes him. He's like Vegas. Works out. Now, for the Leafs, adding Clarkson back, he go on long-term LTR, and then Nathan Horton's already on long-term LTR. You combine these two players' LTR together, the Leafs now have $10.5 million in cap space. They might be able to get Marner signed to a contract now in this space, but we'll see what happens because after this year, the Leafs are going to be in problems. At least you don't have to worry about someone coming in, swooping in an offer sheet. They can now work out the details to get Marner signed. All right, let's get on to which team do I think got better or got worse. We're going to start off in the Windy City with the Chicago Blackhawks. Stan Bowman had a busy offseason. He acquired 2 defensemen in trade. He traded and acquired defenseman Olli Maatta for the Penguins. He acquired defenseman Calvin DeHaan from the Carolina Hurricanes. He went out and got a familiar face in Andrew Shaw in a trade from the Montreal Canadiens. I think he's getting the band back together. He drafted forward Kirby Dach, the young centerman, and He acquired goaltender. He signed goaltender Robbie Lehter to a 1-year deal worth $5 million. Stan Bowman, I think, doing everything and anything to get the Hawks into the playoffs. The Hawks are already in a tight Central Division. If the Hawks don't make the playoffs, I gotta believe Bowman's gonna be fired. He made some major pieces. I think the Hawks are much better than what they were last year. But for Stan Bowman, he gotta hope they're good enough to get in the playoffs. If not, he might be sitting on the unemployment line after next season. All right, we are going to Columbus. Man, this team, I'm just going to say they are not as good at what they were last year. They lost Bobrovsky, they lost Panarin. They knew these players were going, but these are really great key players. They're superstars. They can help win quite a few games, take games on their back, and this will just hurt the team. Matt Duchene, they acquired in a trade. He went to Nashville. Ryan Dzingel, he went to Carolina. The Jackets are not... They got really bad. So I'm sorry, Columbus, you are not as good as what you were last year. They have a lot of young, good pieces, but are they going to fit the bill? Who knows, but it's hard to replace superstar talent in Bobrovsky and Panarin. They did sign forward Gustav Nyquist to a deal, but it'll be interesting to see what happened. Maybe these young kids in Columbus can help this team, but right now the Jackets, they got worse and might be a long season for them. We are off to the Mile High City to talk about the Avalanche. Joe Sakic had a busy offseason as well. He did trade for Colton Soderberg, but you look at the draft, he drafted defenseman Bowen Byron from the Vancouver Giants. For people that live out in Vancouver, they know how good of a player Bowen Byron is. A lot of people are saying he can come in and make an impact on defense, and I think that was a big reason why Tyson Barrie was shipped off along with Alexander Kerfoot. But the Avs did get forward Nazem Kadri. He a good centerman, $4.3 million cap, so that's a friendly cap. He'll play that second line, a good upgrade I think there. And then you also look at what the Avs did as well. They traded for Andre Burakovsky from the Capitals, signed him to a 1-year deal. They acquired forward Jonas Donskoi in free agency, forward Pierre Bellemare in free agency. The Avs were just really making a lot of moves, and they still have cap space to sign Mikko Rantanen. I think they have about $15 million. Even if Rantanen wants 10, they can afford him, but I don't think Sakic wants to do that. So the Avs, yes, I do think they are better than what they were last year. They are a good, young, moving team. My only question for them is going to be their goaltending. This will be the first year Philip Grubauer going to be a number one guy. He's played about 30-plus games for the Washington Capitals one season. This year he played 30-plus games. He had the playoff game, so a little bit over 40. Now he's going to be in that 60 territory, so can he handle the workload? We'll have to wait and find out. Next, we're off to the Big D in Texas, in Dallas. The Stars, man, they had a busy offseason. They got quite a few big names to help this team after losing in Game 7 of double overtime to the Stanley Cup champions, to the St. Louis Blues in the second round. They signed Joe Pavelski to a 3-year deal. They signed Corey Perry to a 1-year deal. They got defenseman Andre Sekera. They lost players like Spezza. They lost Mark Masada and Tyler Pitlick. But these players they add a loan to the Dallas Stars, like Pavelski and Perry. Man, this Dallas Stars team look dangerous. They already have a good team as it is with Ben, Sagan, Radulov. Now you add Pavelski there and Corey Perry, a good young defense, and Klingberg, Mikko Heiskanen, and then Bishop strong in net with Khudobin and Bishop healthy. Man, I think the Dallas Stars, they are a dark horse for next year, ladies and gentlemen. You better watch out. I'm giving Dallas a good thumbs up here, saying they are better for next year. They are better than what they were last year, and they look dangerous. The last team we're going to talk about today are the Detroit Red Wings. Are they better or worse than what they were? I'm saying the Red Wings, they're the same. They're not better than what they were last year. They're not worse. I'm going to say they're the same because they're those young rebuilding teams. They didn't really get any big names. They got an old face in Valtteri Filppula, but they did get an old face at the general manager helm, and Steve Yzerman. He did a lot of great work in Tampa Bay. Let's look at his work. He got Kucherov in the second round, Point in the third round. He got Vasilevsky in the first round. These are players that you look at the Red Wing, players you can draft and build a team around. I think you give Yzerman a year or two, and he might be able to help this Red Wing team get back to those glory days. The Red Wing, they did lose Thomas Vanek. They are waiting. Nick Kronwall hasn't resigned yet. It'll be interesting to see if he will come back and play another year. I don't see Kronwall going out to another team. I expect him to stay in Detroit. But you look at the Red Wing, they got the Dean and other guys. Dylan Larkin's good at handling the helm at the front in Detroit right now. I think the Red Wings, you give them a few years, they will be better. But right now, I don't think the Detroit Red Wings are any better than what they were last year, but I don't think they're any worse. All right, everyone, that's what I got for this week. Hopefully I give you some interesting facts here and give you some stuff to think about. We'll be back next week with more information and more thoughts on which team did I think get better or worse than other NHL news. Anyways, my name's Randy Dillon. Have a good one, and always remember to watch some hockey.